Hi, and welcome to part two of what you shouldn't be doing as an artist. If you haven't seen part one, I'm going to have it in the details below and in the pinned comments, so be sure to watch part one. So in this part two, I'm going to be talking about things you shouldn't be doing when you start painting. So, who am I to tell you what to do? Well, I've been in the game for the last 2 decades. I've sold over 1,200 paintings in my art career so far, and I've had some relative success in exhibitions and all that kind of thing. So I hope I've got some street cred, but let's get on with it. Number one is never paint what you're not interested in. This is so important. You really need to paint what you're passionate about. And a lot of people fall into that trap that they paint what they think will sell. It might sell, sure. I'm not saying it won't, but it's going to kill your passion for what you're doing. Because if you're not painting what you really want to be painting, and you're painting something commercially, say the Porsche store down the road has given you a wall, and you can populate that wall with paintings of Porsches. So you get cracking and you start painting these cars, and you don't want to be painting cars, you want to be doing abstracts. It's going to kill your spirit. This is not really all about money. I know we need to make money, but it's not always about the money. So just be careful when you're painting and when you're thinking of a composition. Do something that excites you. Like for me, I'm a gardener. I live in Barrydale in South Africa, and it's a beautiful place that's very conducive to gardening, and it's very green, and we have beautiful flowers here, and oh, it's gorgeous. I love gardening. So I'm out in the garden, and I am, you know, cavorting with the dragonflies, the bees, the baboons. We get all sorts of things, yeah. Donkeys, sheep, they come in solo, snakes. Yay. I've got a really thrilling tale about that as well, and it's in my pinned comment below. You're going to want to hear about what happened between the weaver birds and a boomslang, which is a tree snake, very venomous tree snake in South Africa. It was a thrilling tale, and it's down below in the pinned comments. You're going to want to see that. Anyway, back to the gardening. So I'm very inspired by nature, and I hope that translates in my art. I think it does. Things that sell the most are my nature inspired paintings. So there is some rhyme and reason to this. I think energetically we put out a frequency that is felt by whoever's actually looking at the piece of art. So bear that in mind. Paint what you're passionate about. It's nothing worse than painting something you really don't want to be painting. We've all been there. Let's not lie. We've all been there. Tell me in the comments section down below, what have you said yes to that you would have rather not said yes to? For me, it's portraits. I stopped doing that quite a while ago because I realized what I see is not how they see themselves. And it's actually really, there's a great saying that my mom always used to, she always used to say, it's like farting against thunder. So I stopped doing portraits because people see themselves the way they're going to see themselves. And it's like when they look at a photograph and go, well, that's not how I see myself. Well, that's not how I look. Same can happen with portraits. So I know a lot of portrait artists now are doing the whole projector thing, which I think is a good idea, because then you actually, you're tracing the outline on the canvas from a projector, which is probably more accurate. But artists, it's your interpretation of the world, so it's also your interpretation of a person. Yeah, it can be dicey. Let's put it that way. So when you paint about something that you're passionate about, it shows in your work. I truly believe in the energetic frequency of what you're putting out, and the feedback is going to be that someone's going to love it. But no, you're not going to have universal popularity, but most people will love what you're doing because they can feel the excitement in your work. So paint what you're passionate about. Number two, and this one really irks me, is when people say, I'm going to paint an abstract because I can earn a lot of money from that, and I'm probably better than, say, Picasso. really. What they don't realize is like someone like Picasso is a master painter. They didn't just do a squiggly wiggly and start selling for millions. There's so much years of study and understudy that goes on with a master painter like Pablo Picasso. He was a master. You should see some of his work prior to when he started doing contemporary painting and drawing. It's not about that. It's about, again, the experience. It's a passion. He actually found a niche in what he was doing, and he did it. It was something new. You know, then people who say, well, I'm just going to do that and make lots of money, or I'm going to spew out a Jackson Pollock because I can do that. Maybe you can, but again, you know, it's got to come from you. It's got to come from within. Art is a personal story. Art is your soul leaving an impression on this world. It's not about copying other people. We've got AI that copies things. You don't want to be a copycat. You want to be authentic and true in this world because you have a soul that wants to leave behind a legacy, don't you? And if you are a copy artist or you just want to do what sells, it's obviously it's up to you. This is your life. But I'm just saying, if you really want to be an artist that leaves an impression on this world, be authentic. Okay, number 3, which is the one we've been waiting for. But before I go into that, have you subscribed yet? Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to get updates and notifications when I post new videos. I do them quite frequently, so you don't want to miss out. Number 3, don't paint slapdash. What do I mean by that? Nothing leaves my studio without, I'm a Virgo, so I'm very pernickety, sure. But I still think this is good advice for anyone. Nothing leaves my studio without total and utter scrutiny. You know, from, are the sides finished? I always paint my sides black. You know, you may want to leave your sides white, but make sure that you use masking tape so when when you finish the painting, you can take the masking tape away and it's a nice clean finish. Varnish, you're going to want to just make sure that you don't have brush hair stuck to your varnish. I have literally picked with tweezers brush hair out of my varnish. Sometimes you miss spots. You're going to want to put it in light and just check that everything is hunky-dory, hunky-dory. You don't want anything leaving your studio that you're not super proud of, 100% proud of. And again, I'm going to refer back to my curator friend who was the curator at a gallery that I was at. And she invited me into her office one day and she said, what do you think of this consignment of new paintings? And I remember looking at them and thinking, they're not finished. It was like some of them weren't varnished. Some of them, the sides were just atrocious. They'd sort of been painted on a little bit, but not finished. Or, you know, they'd obviously cleaned their brush on the side. And it was just a dog's breakfast. I said, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't put this out. It's so unfinished. And she looked and she said, you know, I also thought so. And going back to my previous part 1 video, number 2 was about attitude. Artists having attitude. And she said the artist who brought her those paintings had such an attitude of, well, you're lucky that I brought you these paintings. And oh my goodness, I was like, oh wow, no. So yeah, please make sure that whatever leaves your studio really is pristine, you know, because this is your reputation. This is what you're putting out into the world. You want to make it so that you're putting out really good stuff and stuff you're proud of, and energetically as well. If you're putting out something that you're not proud of, you're probably not going to sell it. People pick up on things like this. In fact, this curator friend of mine, she wouldn't actually put things out. If an artist said to her, I'm not really happy with this, she'd say, well, please take it back and bring it back when you're ready, you know, because she said, and she really firmly believed that, you know, what you give out, you get back. And if you're not happy with what you've put out, no one's going to buy it. Right, so those are my top 3 tips for what not to paint. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe and comment below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.